So, welcome to our first Tech After Hours workshop. Each month, we'll be handling a different topic, and our questions and answers are completely driven by participant asking. So, in the registration link, you have an opportunity to ask questions about the month's topic, and then we get to work and try to find relevant answers and resources for you. And today, being our first one, we are talking about the JAWS screen reader, and we have a list of questions we'll be going over. But first, to introduce ourselves, my name is Allison Mello, and I am one of 3 tech specialists here at the California School for the Blind AT Lab, Assistive Technology Lab.
Then I'm also an AT specialist at CSB. My name is Max.
And I'm Shannon Stice. I'm an AT specialist at CSB, and I apologize, my camera is not working for some reason. So,
And
welcome everybody.
Please note that this Zoom is being recorded with the intention of being added to our campus YouTube page at a later date. So from our registration, we received 6 questions, 6 really great questions. They're about JAWS. We've divided them amongst ourselves, and we will be presenting our answers. Answers may include resources, and resources will go out in a document to all who registered. So all emails that I have collected through our registration form will receive this resource document for personal use. So our first question is, what commands can be used by both JAWS and Fusion? And this one, our newest team member, Shannon, will be taking.
Right. So, I'll just start by saying if you're not familiar with Fusion, it's basically just a combination of Zoom text and JAWS. So, the answer to this is kind of straightforward. As when you're using Fusion, JAWS does all of the screen reading. So, all of the screen reading commands that you would use with JAWS, you would also use in Fusion. And then there are some other some hotkeys that are specific to Fusion, and I've included a list of those that'll go out in the resources. So that's the basic answer for that one. The other question was about using JAWS with Canvas, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with Canvas. It's like a classroom management online system. So there were quite a few resources for that, and I included a handout that will go out with the resources to everybody. But a few areas that you could kind of focus on if you're working with a student with JAWS and Canvas. One is using the JAWS quick navigation keys. So those are the keys that take you to links and headings and tables. That's one recommendation. Just if your student isn't familiar with those keys, then learning those will be helpful in navigating Canvas. Also, you can work with the teacher who creates the class that your student is taking. So there are guidelines which I've included, just ways to make the classroom in Canvas more easily accessible for people using screen readers, and for everybody really. So working with the classroom teacher to just help to kind of streamline their class and make it as accessible as possible is an additional strategy you can use. And then there are things like within Canvas, there are profile settings that you can change that will help with accessibility. There are some Canvas specific key commands. A lot of those are really familiar. If you're familiar already with Windows keyboard commands, a lot of them are similar or the same. I've included a list of those too in the resources. And those are, yeah, so those are kind of the main areas. So working with the classroom teacher to make the site accessible, um, making sure your student is able to use the quick navigation keys in JAWS, and then looking at some of the settings within Canvas, the things that can be changed in Canvas. So that's what I have for that.
Okay. Thank you, Shannon, for answering our first two questions. So our next question is asking about how to efficiently navigate search results. So for this one, I'm going to briefly talk about a few items to keep in mind when having a search result, and then we're going to do a quick little demo. So I'm gonna, for purposes of this answering this question, I will be referring to Google Chrome. It is the primary browser that I personally use with students. Um, and so, but these results and advice do work across browsers. So, one thing to think about when you're doing an internet web search with a screen reader is that many of the commands are Windows based, meaning that they are not exclusive to a screen reader, meaning that anybody, despite having any access software on their computer, can use them. My first one is Alt D. So that gets you to the address bar. And that's where you would type in your search query. And then you press enter, and then you get your search results. I like to talk to my students about the structure of a page of results. Because presumably, if they're using a screen reader, they're unable to visually access what the page looks like. And so we have a list of search results, right? And each one of them is a link. And underneath each, there's a small preview of what they might find on that website if they were to click on it. Sometimes I find that students will tab or arrow through these results and they hear the little snippet of the preview and think that they have read the entire result. So we need to prepare our students with the knowledge that they are in essentially a preview list of the available answers to their internet search. The internet is based on a code called HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. I know this might sound a little above our pay grade, but it's important to keep in mind when you're working with screen access software because HTML is what is the backbone of all front-facing interfaces for web pages. And as I do this demo in a second, you will notice that it becomes important to understand how a screen reader interacts with HTML when navigating web resources and web pages. I often teach students that when they've had a page of web results loaded, to start with using headings. So headings is an HTML code, and JAWS, or any screen reader actually, uses the letter H to read the next available heading on that page. So you are telling JAWS to read what has been coded as a heading. This is why the concept of HTML is kind of important for us to have just a small knowledge of, because you're bound to have the question or receive the question of why headings, why H, why do we go there first? So we navigate our results by pressing H, and then we can press the down arrow once we hear something relevant to our topic to read that little preview. Each heading is coded as a link as well. And links are what we press enter on using JAWS to enter that website or resource. I'm going to do a quick little demo right now, and hopefully I can share my screen, so we'll see.
No selected. Screen sharing meeting. You have started screen share. Press F6. News app Google Chrome. News app Google.
Okay. Can someone tell me if they're
Participants can now see.
seeing my Google Chrome tab?
I see a blank black screen.
News app.
Uh-oh.
Alt D. Address and search bar edit. Blank.
You see nothing?
Correct.
Uh-oh. Isn't that always how this works?
When you hit the Alt and the S, you should have a couple of options before being able to finish and go to share, and one of them
Yeah.
should be the browser or window or tab that you want.
I thought I did.
Oh,
Okay.
Sharing meeting controls. Screen.
Emily, let me try again.
Control plus L. You have started screen share. Press F6 to switch between open Zoom windows. Screen sharing meeting controls. Share preview.
Do you
Participants can now see
see
your
it
application.
now?
I still got nothing, but
Wrong.
if you want me to demo anything, I'm happy to be your
Okay, but do
student.
you have JAWS on?
I also have JAWS on.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then let's do it together
Okay.
because I
Address and search bar.
don't know what's wrong with my.
Screen sharing meeting controls. Alt S.
Okay. So I should be sharing a Google Chrome browser. So you tell me what to do.
Okay. Okay. So, can you share your audio as well? Sorry.
Oh yeah. You know what? I know it's an option that I'm supposed to be able to have here.
It's like a checkbox. I definitely saw that one.
I think you have to stop
Aha,
sharing.
got it.
Stereo left there.
Okay.
Leaving menu. Screen sharing meeting controls.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so Max will be my student. So we're gonna go to our open tab and we're
Mhm.
gonna access the address bar by pressing Alt D.
Alt D. Address and search bar edit. Blank. Type in text. Control plus L.
Now we're going to type in guide dogs for the blind
Guide. Dogs. For. The. Blind. Enter. Guide. This site
and
can
press
access your location. Change
enter.
this setting in the address bar. Page has 6 regions, 32 headings, and 70. Guide.
Okay, so when you press this, when you press enter and you have the results loaded, JAWS will tell you there's regions, there's links, and there's headings. This information is really valuable especially
Stacy has left the
when
meeting.
going to a new page, because you'll know how, if there's actually headings to interact with on a web page. Okay, so let's do a little demo of just tabbing, and I'll stop you when I get bored. So why don't you tab and try to find the results?
Guide dogs for the blind dash group. Accessibility help. Accessibility feed. Search region. Search edit combo. Clear button. Search by voice button. Search by image button. Search button. Share button. Search labs button. Google apps button collapsed. Google account navigation. All unavailable. Short videos link. Images link. Videos link. Shopping link. Forums link. More filters button. Tools button. Main region. Our location. Guide dogs for the blind. Guidedogs.com. About this result. Dog adoption heading level 3 link. Puppy raising volunteers heading level 3.
Let's
Contact us
start.
heading.
Okay, that was a lot of tabs. I wanted to count, but I lost count. So, so now we did eventually find that Guide Dogs link, but we're gonna, for purposes of showing the most efficient way, we're gonna use H for headings, and you did pass it, but first let's press H.
Guide dog program heading level 3 link.
Okay, so that takes us to our next heading. So now we're gonna go Shift H, and
Contact us
adding
heading level.
Shift to any letter will take you to the previous element of that letter. So let's try it again.
Puppy raising volunteers heading level 3 link. Dog adoption heading level 3 link. Guide dogs for the blind heading level 3 link.
There we go. There is our Guide Dogs for the Blind link. Let's press Enter.
Enter. Welcome to Guide Dogs for the Blind vertical bar Guide Dogs for the Blind. Welcome to Guide Dogs for the Blind vertical bar Guide Dogs for the Blind. Page has 2 frames, 4 regions, 12 headings and 39 links. Welcome.
And we heard that there are 12 headings on this page. Now, if we wanted to start navigating this web page to know what are the major chunks of information, I would ask my student to start navigating by heading, because headings in HTML code tend to be the dividing portions of a web page. So different content will be underneath an individual heading. And we'll just do it really quickly and then we'll stop here. But why don't you start exploring by heading?
Website navigation heading level 2. What's new at Guide Dogs for the Blind heading level 3. Calendar of events heading level 3. Holiday
Okay.
lunch and fundraising event heading level 2 link.
Ooh, use your down arrow under that.
Friday, December 5th, 2025, 11 a.m. and 3 p.m.
Awesome. Cool. So we know that this holiday luncheon is in December, and so this information that was underneath this heading, that is called static
Audio now muted. Screen sharing
text,
meeting controls.
and couldn't be
Audio now
accessed
unmuted.
via tab. So this is why we use our headings to find the relevant piece of information or the relevant title, and then use our down arrow to see what's underneath. And that's my answer to this question. So you can stop screen sharing.
You know, I also had this fun idea, Allison, of making an intentionally horribly designed website that has visually heading levels like 3s are above heading level 1s. I'm happy to share that to people afterwards so they can play with it and think about why, other than the fact that it's incredibly busy, why it's a horribly designed web page.
I love that idea. And also, if you visit our SRT, the screen reading training website, you will find perfectly constructed headings for screen readers, and you'll see how they kind of flow from big to small. So our heading level 1s are always the biggest piece of information, kind of like our book title. And then as you get more narrow, heading level 2, heading level 3, you can think of like chapter titles, section titles, and so on.
Perfect. Do we want to move on to the next question?
Yeah, our next question is yours. What are some resources out there for sighted people to learn JAWS, to get familiar
Absolutely.
with working JAWS?
Yeah, I think my general experience as a sighted person coming into the field with no experience and learning JAWS is a very common one. I came into classroom with nothing, no information about blindness besides a couple months of Braille and some other miscellaneous work. So when I was introduced to the screen reader, I had a lot of questions, a lot of anxiety about JAWS, and no answers initially. I didn't really know where to start. But I think that we have a lot of resources now, because it's been a long time, and the resources have been developed and people have been trying to learn these things. So now for the professional, I would say that turning on the screen shade so that you can't see anything once you have an understanding of, like, because visually, like, you have the layout of a website in front of you. You have information at the top, you have information in the middle, you have sidebars, and then you have like the bottom of a page. And so some of those things are static, but other, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Other elements are dynamic. And so you are going to have to learn how to navigate those with a screen reader. And I think the best way to do that is by seeing what it would be like to experience it as a blind person, as one of your students, because you won't be able to do a lesson perfectly if you go through it by yourself and then don't get stuck on anything. I find very often that students get stuck, and it's usually not their fault. It's usually something that pops up on a computer. And if you haven't practiced that, then you don't have the experience to help them get around it. Excuse me. So I would say the number one thing for me would be using it without the screen shade, and then secondarily using JAWS without a mouse. Try to get stuck. Definitely look at documentation. And then I also strongly advocate for ask a friend and ask a student. Granted, I would say that if you ask a friend and you ask a student, try it yourself anyway, and then play around with it and check to see if there are any better ways to do it. Um, Incidentally, I was looking at some of the write-ups that I had for myself from 2018, and when I compare them to how I do things now, that is very different because I wasn't aware of a bunch of different things that are a very big part of my JAWS workflow now. Namely, like when I opened up an email, I had no idea that V for visited links and U for unvisited links was a thing, but I had spent 2 hours playing around with different shortcuts and commands and letters to try to open up different things. And I found that they worked, but I didn't know why. And so I think it's a really roundabout way of saying just try it.
Thanks, Max.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next question is also for you, and it's asking about how to transition students off of our screen reader training website, the SRT, and actually move into real application of the skills that they've just learned.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the demo that you gave is a really good example of how you would gradually start to introduce real life situations to students that started with the screen reader training site. When you are new to JAWS, you are going to consistently want to use the tab key. And it's a really comfortable thing. Like, you not only get a lot of the information that you need it, but you eventually get to where you want to be. Um, and I would say that generally, having a big picture of a website is a good idea. I would think that if you are going to be familiar with a website, I think tabbing through it a couple times is fine. Um, Only insofar as like getting familiar with the layout of the website. And it doesn't necessarily have to just be tabs either. You can pull up the links list, you can pull up the elements list, you can pull up the buttons list, and you'll get an idea of what all is on the page. Um, so I think that getting um, getting an idea of what exactly you want to teach the student is a good place to start. So, like, okay, great. So my student finished the SRT and now they know about links, now they know about headings, now they know about all of these elements and things. Great. So why don't we go to safeway.com and have the student find a specific item and then find the price for the item. And then if they're practicing like moving between tabs at the same time, then they can collate the information. So I know that my beef is going to cost me $7.99. My tortillas are going to cost me $5.99, whatever. So you have all of these prices and you put them, let's say, in a text document, which is a different program, and then you're moving back and forth. So I think that you have so many opportunities to uh, excuse me, to move from the generalized lessons on the SRT. One second. From the generalized lessons on the SRT to real world applications. It just comes down to like what specific IP goals does the student have, or are they working on a research assignment in general ed mainstream or something? Lots and lots and lots of ways to go about it. I'm happy to talk more about it at length, but I don't think today's a good day for me.
Okay, our last question is about navigating Gmail, and this is mine, although I will be using Max as my demo student, because apparently my computer won't share, but not yet. So we are going to talk about navigating Gmail efficiently, and this is a subject that's very near and dear to my heart because I love the word efficient. Kind of similar to how we were talking about tabbing and arrowing. Those are methods that work, right? But that does not mean that they are efficient, which is why all three of us have mentioned hot commands and commands to get to know a website or content more efficiently. Because especially if you're having a student who's trying to stay competitive amongst their sighted peers in the classroom, and later in a college classroom, and later in employment, efficiency becomes the biggest catalyst to success. So I'm going to talk about real quick the concept of universal design in mainstream tech. So in universal design, the idea is that a product is built so that all users can use it. And not just specific users and not just users with some modifications. Some companies have tried to embrace this universal design concept, and Google has made an attempt to incorporate universal design in their workspace programs. So workspace is referring to Drive, Classroom, Docs, Gmail, Slides, all of that good stuff, Sheets. The way that Google has incorporated universal design in their products is they have incorporated keyboard commands in their products that anyone can use. Anyone can pull up any computer, sign into their Chrome profile, and start using the keyboard commands to efficiently navigate through their products and do productivity actions such as sending emails or composing documents and slide presentations. So anybody can use these regardless of Access software and regardless of operating system. With all that being said, these commands require that screen readers be placed in a mode where they are technically being overridden. Now, what I mean by that is we talked about like headings and tab and arrow and all that good stuff for navigating a website. And those work because we're telling the screen reader to read the next heading. We're telling the screen reader to read the next thing that we arrow to. We're telling the screen reader to read the next thing, to verbalize it, the next thing that we've tabbed to, but we're not interacting with anything. Until we press enter, we are simply using our ears to hear what is on the screen, what is being interacted with. JAWS has a mode that is called having the virtual cursor off, that essentially turns that off. So when you press H, it does not read you the next heading. When you press tab, it may or may not take you to the next thing that can be interacted with. Rather, your keystrokes are now interacting with the program just as if you were using the program without the screen reader. And this is what allows commands that are native to Google and other applications and platforms to work. So I'm going to show, well, Max is going to show you with my teaching two ways to interact with Gmail. One with the virtual cursor on and one with the virtual cursor off. I'm just going to say it a couple times. So virtual cursor on, the screen reader is going to be reading to you what it's seeing next. It's acting as your eyes. When you press a key like H for headings, when our virtual cursor is off, you are now interacting directly with the program or application or environment that you are in. Max, can you share your screen?
Mhm. And then
Screen sharing meeting controls. You have context menu to navigate. Press up or down arrow. Spotlight. Leaving menu
perfect.
incognito tab dash.
Okay.
Collapsed. Part.
Can you please
Participants cannot.
go to your Gmail?
Control
I'm
L. Address and search
assuming
bar edit. Blank.
that all of my excellent teaching
Com. Enter. Gmail dash Google Chrome left as pop up.
has taught you how to get to Gmail already.
Short port. G. C. D. Com. Gov. Enter. Gmail. Change language. English left parent United States. Star. Main region. Enter your password.
No.
Welcome dash Google Chrome. California School for the Blind Mail dash Google Chrome left parent incognito right parent. California School for the Blind Mail dash Google Chrome left parent.
Okay.
Shannon Stice has left the meeting.
So the first attempt that we're going to do is going to be with our virtual cursor. So JAWS has a JAWS key, and if your keyboard has an insert key, that key is insert. If your keyboard does not have an insert key, then you would set it to your caps lock. And so you press the JAWS key plus Z, and you will hear virtual cursor off.
Use virtual PC cursor off.
Yay, it's off. Okay. Now, and I will have this in the resource document. Google does have a published list of all available keyboard commands in across their their programs and across
Press keyboard
devices.
shortcuts. Keyboard.
So sorry, did you just turn on or off your keyboard shortcuts?
I needed to check if it's on this account.
Okay.
Enable link to activate. Press enter. Enter. Escape.
Okay, they're
So
on.
Max is demonstrating you do have to turn on the keyboard shortcuts. And the way that you do that is you press question mark and
Keyboard
then
shortcut.
you can tab to that enable
Disable link
button.
to activate.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want it to say that. And so then you know it's on. Okay. And then this is where it becomes super, super easy.
Escape.
So I'm gonna pretend like you're a student. So Max, if we were to compose an email, well, what letter does compose start with?
C.
Yes, let's press the letter C.
Compose colon new message dialog. New message region. New search field
Woohoo!
extended.
Awesome. And we are automatically placed in the who field. let's send an email to me. You can just send an email to
A
me.
list with one extended to extend enter. Compose colon new message dialog. New message region.
And it
2. Search field extended to
auto-populates as you type, and you could use your down arrow to read through the available email addresses that pop up. And then we'll
Mac or
tab to
CPA.
subject,
Extend.
and we will write
Not
test
select
email.
Allison Mello enter.
Sorry, what's my subject?
Test email.
Test email.
Test. Email.
And then we will tab to our body,
Message body edit. Blank. Column 1 row 1.
and you can just write, "Hey, Allison, this is a test
Hey, smart
email
compose.
for this
Allison
workshop."
space. Enter. This is a test. Email. 4. GR. Voided. TOGI. Forgot. What? UI. You. Said. App space.
And to send, we just do Control Enter.
Enter. Enter. Cancel. Undo message sent. Undo view message.
And our message has been sent. Everybody
Message sent. View message.
who has a Gmail can do this right now. I love
Message
restating
sent. View
that
message.
because that is the beauty of universal design. Everybody with a Gmail can go do this right now, and that's what I love about it.
Enable desktop.
Okay, so let's say we sent our email and we don't know what's visually on the screen. And so Google is arrogant, and it starts a lot of their commands with a G for Google, or go to, that's also there, but I like to think they're a little arrogant. So we can go to our inbox or ensure that we're at the top of our inbox by pressing G and then I. So it'll
None
be
selected.
like G-I. Awesome. And then it says none selected because Max doesn't have an email that he's selected to do an action on. And the way we can navigate through our inbox right now is we can use the down arrow, and then, well, let's just use the down arrow first.
Die main region. Grid with 8 columns and 9 rows. Unread. Google security alert. 6.
Okay, so you can just use your down arrow to read through your table of emails, and then you could actually go bit by bit by going to the right. Okay, you should go to the right.
Google. Security alert dash a new sign dash in on Windows short course 1 g.csv dash d.co.gov. We noticed the new sign dash into your Google account on the Windows device. If this was you don't need to do 28 2025
So
6:06
you
p.m.
get piece by piece, first the sender, then a preview, and then you can hear the date and time that it was sent. Okay, so let's turn our virtual cursor back on.
Use
So
virtual
that will
PC
be
cursor on.
sweet. Okay, so now I want you to use your down arrow.
Blank. Unread. Google. Security alert. Oct 22. New sign dash into your account short course 1 g.csv dash d.com. Not start button. Google. Link security alert dash new sign dash into Oct 22 wed. Oct 20 blank. Unread. Google's find hub. You're not start button. Google's find hub.
Okay, so now we're reading it in a very like linear way, and we don't just have there's more pressing of arrows, and it's a little bit more
Google audio now
piecemeal
muted.
rather than having that whole
Audio.
piece of information communicated to the screen reader verbally, as we did with the virtual cursor. So now we're going to compose a new message. So the way that we would do this is we need to find the compose button. So let's try a few things. Let's try using our links list to see if compose is there, because
I have a small problem, Allison.
what?
My keyboard is a 60% keyboard, so it doesn't have a lot of the
What does it
keys
even
that I
mean?
need. Um, but we can pretend.
Okay,
Oh, wait a second. No, I think I found an insert key. Just kidding.
so we're gonna. Do you have the F keys?
So yeah. I think I can make it work.
Okay, let's see if we can find compose in our links list, which is insert F7.
F7.
Oh man. Let's see.
F7.
Okay, so the modified key doesn't actually work as insert, unfortunately.
F6.
Wait.
Annotation dash zoom. Annotate.
Oh wait,
But
hold
this-
on. I
Inbox
was
left.
also in the wrong place.
Links list dialog. Links list view.
Yay!
Skip the
Just
consent.
kidding. I
Yay.
do have it.
Okay, now you can try pressing C to find compose.
Chat 0 and red messages 7.
Is that the only thing for C?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. It's not there. Okay, so you can escape out of your links list.
Escape.
Okay, this might be a time that I ask you to tab around because I don't know how to get you to the compose button. But for sake of our time tonight, we're gonna go find the compose button by using B.
Main menu heading level 1 button expanded. Advanced search options heading level 1 button. Status colon active heading level 1 but support heading level settings heading level 1 Google Apps heading level Google account colon short unlabeled 5 button. Compose button.
And then hit enter.
Did you say press B again?
More labels button.
No,
Compose button.
you passed it.
Oh,
More
what do I
labels.
do now?
Okay, now, similar to that headings thing, we have to do Shift B to go back a button.
Compose button.
Hit enter.
Enter. Inbox left parent 8 right parent dash short course 1 g.csb-d.co.gov dash California School for the Blind Mail. Search field.
Isn't it kind of interesting that it doesn't even say that you opened the compose message box like it did when you pressed C with the virtual cursor off? I've literally never noticed that until right now, but it didn't announce that. That's annoying. Okay, well, hopefully, because we are screen reader users, hopefully, if we start typing an email address, in what we think is the to field, we can start, we can hopefully find Allison's address again.
A list with 1 items. Extended select list box. Extended select list box. Not selected. Allison Mello at csd-d.co.gov. 1 of 1.
Yay,
To
we
move
were
to an
in the
item, press
to
the arrow keys.
field.
Enter. Compose colon new message dialog. New message
And
region.
then
2. Search field extended
tab.
select list box.
Oh, now
Subject
it
edit.
says
Blank. Placeholder.
compose
Subject.
new
7 text.
message. And then we can do test message 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm in my subject.
It's test message 2.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted
Test.
again.
Message. 2. Message body edit. Blank. Column 1 row 1. Type in text.
Cool. And then you can type whatever you want since you forgot what I said earlier.
4. 7. Years. Ago. Space. Hour. Father. Broad. 4. This. Continent. Continent. Space. Host. A. E. F. New. Nation. Space. V.
I forgot the
force-
rest of it. We'll go with that.
Okay, and now you can
Cancel,
tab to our
unselected, undo.
send button. Oh,
Oh,
or you
I'm
did
so-
control enter. That's okay.
So sorry.
That is,
Message sent. New
so
message.
control enter is a universal command. It's not a JAWS command. It works in your Outlook. It works
Message
in
sent, new message.
Gmail. It works wherever you can send messages. So thanks for that. So as you've noticed,
Enable desktop.
hopefully, the finding the compose is a little bit more of like time consuming if you have the virtual cursor on and you have to search by finding buttons. And then also it doesn't announce that the compose field is actually open. If you use those universal commands with the virtual cursor off,
Virtual PC
you
cursor
simply just press that C and it says compose, and then you
Compose colon.
make said compose and you simply just draft your email and send it. You can stop your screen share now. So in the resource section of our document that will be sent out, we will have, again, a link to Google's publishing of Google Commands. We will also have several webinars that you can watch that simply just expand on the usage of Google's commands that have been created by APH and Allied Instructional Technology Services. And then we will also have CSB's cheat sheets on navigating the Google platform with these Google commands. Those are also going to be resources. So we have reached the last question in our workshop, the last submitted question today. and we are really excited that you've joined us for our first workshop. Our next workshop will be on November 18th. It will be on video magnifiers, and our low vision clinic coordinator will be joining to help answer questions. And the registration link is live on our website. This will hopefully go up on our YouTube before then, or else this is an irrelevant announcement. But we are really excited that you joined us. We're really excited for all of the resources to be shared, and we hope that you tell a friend and reach out to CSB Assistive Technology if there's a particular piece of technology that you want covered in our Tech After Hours workshops. Max and Shannon, you got anything?
No, but I think we still have a couple minutes. I don't know if you wanted to open the floor for general questions about JAWS.
Sure. We can open the questions or open the floor. Otherwise, participants here can have the gift of time. Alba
Oh,
has
we
a
have Ava.
question.
Mhm.
I was just wondering if, hi, it's Saba. I was just wondering if the it's if you want to navigate Google Docs, would the
Mhm.
same you have to turn the virtual cursor off to
Yeah,
use?
that's an excellent question. That's really great. For prime usage, it is best practice to turn it off.
Okay.
It will not impact your ability to navigate your document if it is left on when you open a Google Doc.
Okay.
However, I have seen that occasionally, like, focus will be thrown out of the document into the the toolbar at the top, and
Okay.
turning the virtual cursor off negates that from happening.
Okay, that's helpful. I guess then my next question that follows, if I could, is as a teacher, if I'm creating a document and I'm using headings, what should I do? Because I've tried using headings and then the students aren't able to, navigate that way. And I'm wondering if it was because I didn't prompt them to turn off the virtual cursor, or is there something I'm not doing?
That's again a really great question. So, when in a text document, using quick commands like H or V for visited link or B for button, those will just type those letters, right? Because we're in a text composition document. However, in Google Docs specifically, they have worked with Freedom Scientific to create a layered command that allows for you to say, hey, screen reader, I know this is a text document, but right now we're going to treat it like it's a web page. So my typing of a letter does not actually type that letter, rather it goes to the next element of that designation for that letter. And so that layered command, and I could put it in our research document, that layered command, all layered commands in JAWS start with pressing the JAWS key, so insert or caps lock, plus the space bar. And then someone using the device would hear a little click. And then you would press G for Google. And then that would turn on this like special mode within a Google Doc that allows you to press H for headings and tab to the next link, but not actually put an indentation in your document. Do we want a little demo?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I know I'm going to have to revisit when the video goes up, but that would be
for
awesome.
sure.
Contact.
Do you have a
Share computer sound.
Google
Submenu.
Doc?
Optimize for video sharing. Leaving menu. Collapse. Participants.
Okay.
Space.
So that little
Participants
boop,
can now see your screen.
comes after JAWS key and insert or space bar, sorry. And then you said
Quick
G,
keys.
and then
Exit list.
And
Heading
now
to
it
resources
said
colon.
quick keys, and quick keys is what we are referencing when we are using our H for headings. They're
Heading 1 October Tech After Hours questions. Heading 2 resources colon.
Yay. And then to get out of this layered command, if we wanted to, for example, navigate to a particular part of our document and then write in it actually, then we would just hit escape and it would do that little click, and then you know you're out of the layered command and now you can type again in your document.
Hello,
Okay.
world.
So hopefully that is helpful, Abba.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, 5 more minutes if anyone else has a question. Going once, going twice. You
I have another question. So
Yeah.
sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. This isn't specifically related to I mean, it's on web pages and things. But you know that like that lower area, the shelf, and then sometimes I'm trying to use my commands to close a pop-up or a page or something like that. Are there some keyboard commands that I need to know when I'm
So you want to
using
take this
JAWS?
one?
Just 1 second. Okay, I'm so sorry. Phone's blowing up. Can you repeat the question for me?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if there's a pop-up or there's like the shelf and or at the top right corner, I'm trying to close a page. What are I and Alt F4 is not working. What are the alternatives?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Okay, so we'll go
Screen sharing.
back here. So I'm sharing my drive.
Control Shift T.
And whoops,
Search result. Control
I'll
Shift.
reopen
October.
the tab that I had
Banner hidden.
earlier. So you're saying like when a student reaches a
Participants can
page
now see
like
your
this,
screen.
they would have some sort of pop-up that doesn't allow them to interact with, like in this example, it would be this document.
Sure, that's one of the things I've come across. Yeah.
Yeah, so typically when that happens, it's because
Menu file 1 of 8. To move through
I'm
items,
going
press left or right
to
arrow.
press the Alt button, just as an example. So currently my cursor isn't in the document. Like if I type
Leaving menu.
any letter,
Undo.
well,
Menu.
in that instance, it's a little bit different. But let's say I was
Leaving menus tab. Menu file 1 of 8. To move file menu.
in here, right?
Yeah.
So if
Leaving
I'm
menus.
trying
Save as
to
dialog. Escape.
do
October
something,
take.
like it's going to mess up because I am no longer inside of the editable portion of the website.
Alt file menu. New tab.
Because it's assuming that like any letter that I press that is relevant to the file menu here. So if I press T, for example, like on accident, thinking I wanted to type a word like that or something,
Leaving menus.
it would
Search with Google.
create a new tab.
Mm.
In other instances, you'll think that you're in an area, but you're actually, like my cursor is currently blinking in the edit field. So if I thought I was somewhere and tried to do something like, for example, I wanted to find a button,
Selected. Braille
I'm pressing B, right? And it's not going anywhere because I'm in an element that is different than the one that I expected.
Right.
Control
So if that excuse me, if that happens, you typically want to, or at least I would say, you typically want to find out if it's interactable. And I like to use the Alt key just to see what all is available to me. And then it'll give me some options. And if it doesn't, then I try my escape key. And then if my escape key still hasn't done anything, I would try to reload the page and see where I'm at after that.
Okay.
And those are no particular order, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would depend on the situation, but I think those are like my main 3 things that I would try.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Woohoo. Okay, we are at 6:28. We have 2 minutes. If you have a quick question, let us know. Otherwise, we will see you next month. Going once. Going twice. Elizabeth said bye. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for
Yay.
attending.
Thank you, Charlotte, for coming. Tell your friends. Have dinner with each other while you watch our next one. we are signing off. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Ready?